I'm Chloe. I do the BDC, like the internet phone calling, and I set appointments.
What made you interested in working in an internet experience or customer experience role here?
Specifically here, I like how it interacts with the community around us. I have done a lot of community things in my life, and I like to stick to that. And knowing that this specific place helps people in the community, and sometimes even further than that, that's what drew me to it.
What was your first impression of the team during the interview process?
Very considerate, very considerate. I had an early interview and it was set up, and they were going to be a little bit late, and they called me as soon as they knew that they were going to be late to that interview, and they let me know that it has nothing to do with you. It's just they had to figure something out very quickly, and that they would get right back to it. And they did. So when they recalled me, it was at the exact time that they said that they would call me. A lot of people find appointments stressful. I know I do. Like, I know that any type of interview makes me feel picked apart and all that. I did not feel that way here. I interviewed with both of the managers at first, and they were very kind and very considerate. They asked me all these questions, and I felt like it was more than just, well, what are you gonna do here for us? It's, are you gonna better yourself as well in this position? And it was like they were trying to figure out if not only would I be able to fit the role, but I'd be able to grow with this role. And that's a very comforting thought.
Was there anything about the hiring process that stood out compared to other jobs that you've had?
Everything is efficient. Everything is got like a point end. So they work to that point end, and I feel like that's efficient, and I feel like a lot of people would, in the busyness aspect of everything, can really appreciate that. I know I did, because I was doing this in between breaks and all that kind of stuff, and days off, and they really worked with me. That's what stood out, is how hard they worked to work with you. I know that I had a bit of an issue with the app that I went through to submit my resume, and as soon as I had a problem with it, I called up here, and they were like, oh my gosh, I'll let them know. And they did, and it got worked out, and then I had my interview. So it was very quick, and a lot of people, I know, especially if you're going on like Indeed and stuff like that, you feel like you're waiting forever for somebody to, it feels like you're the only person on one end of the line. So it's like, is there somebody else actually reading through these? They are.
Can you describe the steps of the interview and hiring process?
What it was is, obviously, if you go on Indeed, you click the job. I put in my resume. It was reviewed within at least a day. I got a message to set me up for a phone call interview, which only lasted about, I want to say, an hour to maybe 30 minutes. It wasn't very long. They worked with me very well to get a time, because I was working full-time at the time, and it happened early in the morning. Left the call, then maybe 2-3 hours later, they asked me if I wanted to come in for an in-person interview. Obviously, I came in, and that was also, also great interview. They are taking notes about you personally. She fun. Like, I had to tell people that I love telling dad jokes. I feel like that's a personal attribute about me that I like people to know about. And they wrote that note in my notes. And then when I came in for my second interview, which happened I want to say not even like 3 days later, like not even, maybe a week tops, but came in, it was Tim, and they had notes from my last interview, and they're like, so I see you're funny. And I was like, oh, I wouldn't say funny. I would just say that they care.
Can you give us your best dad joke?
Ooh, maybe it's not the best one, but it's a funny one. I personally think. What do you call a cow with 2 legs?
A cow with 2 legs. Not a cow.
Lean beef. Why was the mustard out of breath?
Why?
Couldn't catch